Diddy has by and by become all the rage as far as some unacceptable reasons. As you might be aware, Cassie documented a claim against Diddy on November the 16th guaranteeing an upsetting decade example of misuse, including assault that purportedly started when she was only 19. The R&B vocalist, once under Diddy's Terrible Kid records, blamed him for sex dealing, illegal exploitation, sexual battery, rape, and orientation-spurred savagery. The claim declared that Diddy's command over her life started in 2005 and strengthened after she endorsed with his mark in 2006, stretching out to her loft vehicle dress. And, surprisingly, clinical records shockingly only a day subsequent to recording the claim, Cassie privately addressed any remaining issues. The results saw numerous informers venturing forward with their own rape charges against the hip bounce tycoon, provoking examination from both legitimate and industry viewpoints. The disrupting news has sent shockwaves through the music world, leaving many scrutinizing the elements inside the business in the midst of whirling gossipy tidbits about Diddy's supposed inclusion in infidelity and profession control. Murmurs in the business propose he could play had an impact in affecting Ashanti's vocation direction. Jennifer Lopez has confronted her own discussions over tune starting points with a reputed fight, including Mariah Carey. The Tattle Factory indicates a perplexing snare of connections and expert dealings passing on fans and industry insiders. Zoyas to unravel the strings of this puzzling melodic show in the tangled trap of melodic dramatization. Ashanti has unpretentiously moved around the edges of a reputed quarrel with Jennifer Lopez, never out and out admitting to any dissension. The R&B sensation dropped hints recommending that the stunning progress of Jlo might have diminished her spotlight thanks to the cooperative wizardry with J. Rule and Irv Gotti fanning the shoot allegations of taking a similar example tune utilized by Maria KY for Darling Kids surfaced around the same time. The situation started to get interesting as it was uncovered that Lopez took tunes initially planned for Ashanti, leaving the 39-year-old artist seething, particularly since she had quite recently relished the sweet taste of achievement, with Ja Carey belting out hits like Generally on Time and a twisty story of industry associations and asserted double-crossing. Diddy's alleged association in getting Container Rule on the remix with Jlo accompanies a side dish of embarrassment in this dramatization, as per Diddy's previous bodyguard John Bargan, who let the cat out of the bag on Diddy's sketchy social events. The setup without anyone else. You understand what I'm talking about. And he was at this rack and he was getting like 4 or 5 heat. Simply getting them like that, so I wasn't giving no consideration to him at first. I liked that, however, at that point when I went to the rack said butt plugs. I said, you man, I said hello, yes. You getting this for man. Incidentally, Diddy and Ja Rule weren't relaxed associates. They used to hang out together a ton, which additionally indicates that they may be more than companions. When it came to preparing the remix for I'm Genuine, it seems Diddy chose to play pale to Ja Rule and help Irv Gotti in the process. Ashanti, anyway, dropped a stunner in a 2014 meeting, uncovering the really with no puff. She gruffly uncovered that it was her vocals at first utilized on the track First They Grab an example from Mariah, and afterward, like it was not a problem, they swiped Ashanti's vocals and thrown them onto the track. Ashanti even guaranteed she expressly let Gotti know that she needed to possess email for herself. Yet as the situation starts to get interesting, Gotti and Diddy purportedly go despite her good faith and handed over to Jlo. The September 2001 arrival of Lopez's I'm Genuinely Cold from her second studio collection J. Alo set off Ashanti's disturbance, asserting the track was a first saved for her self-named debut collection. Anyway, Irv Gotti, Ashanti's mark supervisor at Murda Inc., apparently played a game of seat juggling with the track, giving it over to Lopez after it was recorded and blended in with his anti-vels, abandoning her experienced vocals in Las Varian. Ashanti admitted to venting her blended feelings. It was mixed on the grounds that I was energized in light of the fact that it was J-Lo. Do you have at least some idea what I mean? Yet I was so frantic at Irv on the grounds that I resembled you. Realize I needed that record. In the most recent delicious disclosure from the universe of R&B standoffs, Joe spilled the tea on a new Instagram live describing the eyebrow-raising second when Ashanti was near the precarious edge of being removed by, in all honesty, Jennifer Lopez. The not-so-stunning turn is that Jlo, enjoying some real success on the floods of achievement with Irv Gotti, was apparently shadowing Ashanti's vocation, trimming through the puff, the AIA void. in the music scene after her disastrous plane accident in 2001 turned into the discussion of top dog record leaders. They found out about a skilled, youthful craftsman working out of Irv Gotti's studio, and an enlistment craze resulted enter Beam J, who some way or another had within. Scoop on Ashanti in an astounding turn, new development Beam let the cat out of the bag to Diddy about Ashanti's true capacity, and strangely enough, Diddy took Ashanti from Gotti and supposedly participated in a few questionable dealings. Beam J, apparently not satisfied with Diddy's inclusion with Ashanti, wound up on some unacceptable side of things with the hip bounce magnate. The dramatization uncovers the insider facts of the business where ability procurement transforms into a high-stakes round of a game of seat juggling and partnerships disintegrate under the heaviness of obscure dealings. So I recorded silly, and when I went in, it was peculiar to me that I was paying attention to myself and afterward. Paying attention to the first record just to ensure that it fell in a decent space. You understand what I mean. So I couldn't say whether I need to say terrifying yet over the top fuss budget. You understand what I mean. You would rather not mess up. Definitely it's different when it's 8, like whenever you first didn't have the foggiest idea what you had now. You're like, this must be as great. Precisely, you need to keep that feeling. You need. Yes, you need to keep the inclination 1,000,000 for each step. Who individuals own, cuz I'm certain not Veer claiming the more established. None of those individuals need to arrange music.
I think demise jam SL widespread on the grounds that it's an odd progress occurred with killing passing jam general shape tune. You understand what I'm talking about. So
I, for one, figure a decent piece might want to plunk down and have this discussion. I don't know. I think IR sort of said where he stands. The situation started to get interesting with the disclosure that Lopez's hit single, Ain't It Amusing Homicide remix, released upon the world in February 2002, was purportedly reserved for an Ashanti project. It's reputed that J-Lo, consistent with her diva structure, picked to hold her vocals on the Correlayan Vision, a total rendition currently in the can, with Ashanti just to be cut and diced when handed over to Lopez, who kept a portion of the main U-hit creators. Alters everything sounds odd, and to some degree uncalled for, yet, as is commonly said, showbiz is seldom a fair game. Regardless of the odd new development, Ashanti at any rate could depend on trading out for her association. The dramatization encompassing Jennifer Lopez's melodic triumph doesn't end with a Santai debate, appears to be woven into the texture of her diagram-beating hits, while Lost Pockets may be jingling with cash as she's credited as a foundation singer and lyricist. The interest lies in the melodies that fallen through the fingers of their planned proprietors. Take, for example, the conflict with Usher over the 2005 hit Get Right, initially bound for his Precious Stones selling collection admissions in 2004. Lopez figured out how to catch it, filling a quarrel that left fans humming. Then there's the story of Playco, composed by Christina Milian for her second collection, just to bafflingly track down its direction under the control of the Ain't Your Mother vocalist. Lopez's discography, sparkling with its north of 23 years, is a motherlode of captivating histories and questioned proprietorship. As you most likely are aware, the ties among Diddy and Beam J were at that point cut off when Diddy upheld Lopez and helped her overshine Ashanti. So, in the most recent episode of Hip Jump drama, strains heightened between Kanye West Diddy and presently R&B sensation Beam J. Following the promoted private trade among Kanye and Diddy, the dramatization startlingly turned when Beam J entered the ring. Diddy, the 52-year-old Awful Kid Records pioneer, tossed conceal at Ye on Instagram, asking individuals to stop coonin' and buffin' and stressing being proudly dark. First, Beam J, befuddled, utilized by Diddy's abrupt straightforwardness, took to his own Instagram to scrutinize the big shot's shift in perspective. You puff, I came to your house and let you know 2 or 3 months prior. I generally disapproved of specific comedians, and NS hushed up now out of nowhere. The 41-year-old artist and entertainer composed, while Beam J stayed quiet about the characters of the jokesters' hypotheses. Highlight kick. Nye, given their set of experiences of conflict so fundamentally, Diddy winds up suffocating in an ocean of embarrassment as numerous informers approach with a blast of claims closely following Cassie's stunning legitimate activity against the music magnate for rape. What is happening has heightened decisively with 4 extra casualties venturing into the spotlight, repeating comparable cases against the expelled chief. One lady recording a case with the Southern Area Court of New York asserts that Diddy, alongside Awful Kid Records chief Harve Pierre, and a third assailant, assaulted her at the youthful age of 17 in the wake of dealing her across state lines in 2003. The claim noticed that the fortitude showed by 2 different ladies standing up against Brushes and Pierre propelled her to share her frightening story. Thanksgiving weekend brought a deluge of lawful strife for Brushes, with 2 separate claims blaming him for rape and a third focusing on his organization for carelessness and work environment viciousness. The gravity of the charges goes from tranquilizing and rape to vindicate pornography, with one informer asserting that Diddy and vocalist-lyricist Aaron Corridor were associated with a supposed assault and attack in 1990 or 1991. Another lady documented a claim denouncing Pierre and Diddy's business